Welcome to another episode of the Throw Show, where we're going to cover all things that are happening in the current state of the throws world. And today we're going to be covering 4 different girls that threw over 18 meters, a couple beast 21-meter bombs from a couple male NCAA guys, Ryan Crouser's training throw, Joe Kovacs' 22-meter throw, and then a potential world record in the weight room at the end of the podcast. So,
Interesting.
I'm here with Trevor, and I feel like you're sitting way too close to me right now.
We have to fit in the same screen in the shot, Dane. This is how it works.
And Trevor and I have already decided we're going to try our hardest to not talk too much about technique when we're analyzing and looking at these throws, but
This is about the athletes. That's the goal of this, right? And the throwing community.
what about my ego?
You might have to set that aside for today.
Maybe we should only say positive things about the technique. That'd be good.
All right, let's do that.
So am I pressing this?
Yeah, you can press it, Dane.
All right, so first off, right off the bat, Sam Nenig went 18.25, just shy of 60 feet. She threw 18 meters, over 18 meters a few times, I believe, last year or 2 years ago, representing ASU. She transferred, I believe, my understanding is she transferred to Arizona. I think she dates Jordan Geist. And I'm only saying that because I talked to Jordan Geist's parents at a meet in the summer out in Western PA. But anyway, I think she's going to grad school now at Arizona, so she's working with TJ Crater. Shout out to her high school coach, Joe Frontier, who I think probably has coached more girls that have gone on to throw 18 meters than anybody else. So he's one of the best high school coaches in the country, probably one of the best coaches in general. Let's check it out. Good. So she just sits into that really well. Good, this is on repeat. So I think a couple things I'm noticing. Her right leg out of back, she dorsiflexes that right foot, has a nice right leg sweep, and just stays grounded really well through that finish.
I wish we had sound on.
Yeah, actually we can press sound, huh?
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. I think it's just absolutely absurd that there's 4 girls in college right now throwing 18 meters and 3 guys over 21.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, obviously distances have just been blowing out of control like the last few years, but I feel like everyone's just kind of, whether it's just like they've had so much time with COVID and just, coming back just on fire, so it's awesome.
What do you see in her throw?
I think she has a real good right out of the back. Like she gets it going wide and then right down in the middle.
What do you think? So, before we go into these other women, is what do you think's, if you look back at some of the throws, from even like 2012, 2008, the trials, like there might have been 1 or 2 girls thrown over 18. Mm-hmm. Now there's 4 in the NCAA throwing that far. What do you think that is from? Is it from more women are spinning? Is it from better training methods? Women are actually being pushed a little bit more than they used to be. Is it a better approach in general? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's a combination of things, but I definitely think like more women spinning. I think a lot of it has to do, and with throwing in general, distances getting higher is just the information available through through YouTube, through Instagram, and just sharing information between coaches. Any thrower being able to go online and watch professional elite throwers like this, mm-hmm. Watch their throws. What did you have to do in college to see someone's throw?
Paul Ferenczi gave me a VHS cassette of Werner Gunther's training, and that's what I would watch on my VCR.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's something that's really contributing, and people are just getting better technique.
Right. All right. So now we're going to get into Loggy from Iowa. She's a discus world champs finalist. Just an absolute animal of an athlete. I believe one of the best competitors as well. I think she got. Well, I don't know how she did in the final, but she was one of the higher qualifiers in Doha. So here she is, 18-18, 59-7 from Iowa.
Dude, she kills that finish.
And she looks lean. She's in good shape. One thing I noticed right there a little bit, so she sort of falls a little out of the back, but in the middle, she like holds that left arm really well. She opens it and then holds that middle position and then just continues to work as long as possible on that finish. It's almost like she must have had, she possibly might have had some big fouls because she looks a little disappointed with an 18-18.
Yeah, right.
That's good though.
We're just feeling it, just barely feeling it, like she had more. I also think, like, and her too, like her right gets down immediately in the middle. I think that's just like a,
Yeah.
you know, both of them. I think that's just, you know, something that really just turns it on through the middle of the throw, speeds it up.
I think what's crazy too is to think like, so she's going to be, I mean, she's going to throw 60 feet in the shot. She's thrown 60 meters in the discus multiple times. So that's what's awesome now is like, where's she going to be when she's 26, 27, 28? You know, what's she going to be throwing in a couple of years? Because she's in a good situation. She's in a good environment. She's got good training. She's got a great coach in Eric Worski, and you know, she's continuing to clean up and utilize, you know, the physical prowess that she has. So it's fun to see her mature here. This is big. Good job, Loggy. Now we're going to move on to Josie Schaefer, another one of Joe Frontier's. Man, that looks good too. I think watching these women throw, the technique is significantly better.
She really gets her left around at the front, like down at the front immediately.
She's got a lower left foot too. It's not like super low, but it's almost similar to Crouser. And she stays grounded really well there.
Yeah.
So 1809 for Josie Schaefer. This was a couple weeks ago. This is like 4 weeks ago. I almost think it's like we can shift over to 1744. I almost think too it's like, you know, with COVID, a lot of people were just anxious to get out, and now that they're into that competitive state where they're throwing week to week on a consistent basis, they're, you know, it's nice to not. I mean, they're still obviously, you know, she's throwing with a mask on, so they're taking this stuff seriously and doing everything that they need to do, but at the same time being able to compete.
Yeah.
10 months, man. 10 months to go basically without competing. I want to watch that left arm.
Everyone knows what it's like to redshirt now.
Yeah, really. I really like her left arm too. She sits on it too. Actually, let's go back to the back part. She opens well with that left, and that right leg's out wide, and then just holds there. Left arm holds across for a split second. It's almost like a mixture of Kovacs and Crouser. She looks good. Good finish. I think too, watch her right when she reverses. It just sort of slides forward into the toe board, almost dead center.
Yeah. She used a narrower start, which I think is interesting. I feel like that helps her get over her left a little bit more out of the back as well.
Good job. So 1809 from Josie Schaefer. Now we're going to head into Akili Moten, the Soul Glider, 1806. This is at Iowa State. Yeah. Ooh. Jeez.
So we mentioned spinning being one of those reasons, but it's not the only reason.
Yeah, clearly. I'm trying to think about Renner, when Renner glided, what he would do with his left arm, because if you see her, she almost looks like Gunther coming out with that left out of the back and then resets it. See how she like resets it across?
Yeah.
And then she's got a real bent right that sits into that flat left. It's like a non-reverse with a very slight step through at the end. Watch that right knee drop in the middle, down.
Yeah, it goes straight down and forward into the finish.
I gotta watch it again to see what her left arm's doing on the finish. relative to her right knee. She's aggressive with the left arm.
Yeah, she gets it out way before she starts actually rotating forward with the right side of her body into the finish.
Right. I'm gonna watch her ankle, right ankle. It's a little flat there, maybe. That's good though. That's good speed, good smack on the finish. Let's see her level the shoulder. She's pretty level there until that left grounds. Then that left shoulder starts to open. That's good. I like this throw. There's a couple things I think she can improve upon, but it's like, that's pretty good. She looks good. She's moving well. That's what's crazy is think about what's going to happen at NCAAs.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go into, do you want to go to Joe or do you want to go to college kids first?
Let's do college kids.
Okay. So we're going to switch over to the college guys. Turner Washington went 21-84, I think.
85.
21-85. That's just crazy. And so, so Turner's dad's Anthony Washington, world champ discus thrower.
Man, talk about fast through the middle of the circle.
Yeah. What do you see?
I think he just gets his left it's real low and it's real fast getting to the front.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the best things of this throw. And then he's hit the shots back when he hits the front, and he just has a massive finish.
Mm-hmm. He looks so much bigger than he used to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking about him in high school compared to this. He just, I mean, he is, to be fair, a grown man now. So I'm looking at what's his right doing. His, some guys with the old sort of like the Venegas style, their right leg, the right knee would come up, but if you watch his right, it comes wide and down right away. Mm-hmm. And then that lower left foot follows. It's like that left foot's almost exactly in line with his knee, similar to Crouser.
You know, one thing I also like, he has that little hunch with his upper body. He kind of stays bent over, and I feel like he doesn't fall back at any point in the throw. He's always over his, whichever foot is grounded. At the back, he's over his left. In the middle, he's over his right with his upper body.
Yeah. One thing I noticed is his right knee doesn't, he extends just a hair with that right knee. That's the only thing I can really see. Good speed. And I think that's the other thing is what makes somebody fast. A lot of people say, watching Washington, oh, he's so fast. Watching Tom Walsh, he's so fast. But throwers need to take a step back and say, what is making him so fast? What was making Josie Schaefer, Keely Moten, what makes them so fast is not the fact that they are fast, they're twitchy people, but it's also their technique. The technique establishes the speed. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you're doing the right principles, if you're doing the right movements, you're going to be fast because that's the technical precision that you have. So it isn't just that they're twitchy, it's also that he's doing things properly.
Yeah.
And he's consistent. And he just stays on that forever. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I know Javen is only in 10th grade and only throws 51.9. But one thing I think watching...
I believe it and give him 6 years.
Yeah, give him 6 years. I believe Javen can throw that far. But Washington throws, it just keeps sailing. It's like, dude, when's this shot going to come down? Yeah. And that Javen has that where it's just he just sort of hits it and it just keeps going and going and going.
It's just like that. It's almost like that constant acceleration through the finish. It's not like a quick, just pop,
hit,
but it's just constantly
long.
Putting force on the shot.
Yep. So Brian Bluetrick with a big bomb, coaching 21-84, 21-85. Huge. All right, let's go to, this is Pippery. So I think this is the same exact weekend. So Turner Washington, the throw we had just watched, broke the NCAA record. And in the same day, Pippery goes 21-74.
This is actually the week before.
Oh, it was the week before. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, Turner Washington did break the NCAA record. Here's Pippery. 2174, and also had a 2162. Again, he's been on fire for since 2 years ago. Won the NCAA title in, what was that, 19 or 2019 or 2018? I forget what year that was. 2019, I guess it was, yeah. Let's see this. He's always sort of had that static left out of the back. That static left shoulder. He doesn't really open it like Kovacs or Crouser or Walsh or Durrell. Right leg's nice and long, nice and wide, gets grounded. I've always liked him coming out of back. His right comes down really quickly. His left is fast to the front. Left helps him rotate super fast. Also, he's so strong. They've done a really good job developing him as a specimen. I think he back squatted 700 for reps. I want to say he's cleaned close to 400 pounds. So he's just got really tremendous strength development. And he knows how to apply it in the shot because he's got pretty solid technique. Maybe he over-rotates a hair, but it's like...
I mean, I think... I almost think a hair over rotation
can be good.
It's just like a sign of you getting after the throw.
Like, yeah. Let's see, is there a... Oh, this is a celebration.
Nice.
Zeb Zion.
This was also breaking Crouser's school record.
Okay. So here's a 2162. The previous throw, that wasn't bad either. Oh, nice save. That just shows, too, how athletic he is. Big save, big chest pound. Let's go back. So if we go back to that 2174, we'll watch that one more time. This also breaks Ryan Crouser's school record. That's huge as well.
Massive.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Think about this: is he's breaking the school record of a guy who's Olympic champ, just broke the indoor world record, and might end up breaking the outdoor world record.
Think about when Crouser was going through, who would have ever thought that in a couple years his record would be broken?
Yeah, not 20 years later, like in the next 5 years.
Right. And I think that just shows all this young talent coming up through the NCAA right now. Like what is it going to become in the next 5 years in the professional ranks? You know, I mean, honestly, this throw right here would have won multiple Olympics.
Right. All right, so now we're going to go into McKay Johnson, who transferred from Cal to USC. And this, I think, was at the same comp as Turner Washington. And this is, 2145. Definitely the furthest throw in the world by a lefty.
I was just going to ask if we can have a fact check on that, but
One of the guys I trained with in Canada was left-handed, and he used to say for 7 years in a row he had the #1 throw in the world by a lefty. Jesse Roberge. All right, so this is also the USC school record as well. So I'm pretty sure that this was at the same comp that Washington ended up going big. I could be completely wrong with that. So it says here he was in first place by over 6 feet at this throw. And then Washington came back and just went bomb.
I mean, probably they were, this is the type of environment that, builds throws like that. Like two guys going off head to head, probably going back and forth with massive throws.
I sort of like his right arm opens, he holds it, smashes. One thing I was going to say, his right gets flat, but his left, I think he's got even more in this. I think he could get that left side to rotate into his right even more.
I just think his throw looks very elastic. I know that's a very general term, but I feel like
he's snappy.
He uses his right arm really well out of the back of the circle, and I feel like that just kind of sets up the tempo for the rest of the throw.
I also think he has the biggest quads in the NCAA right now too. His legs are huge.
Yeah.
All right, let's go move on to the next throw, which is going to be Joe Kovacs. So Joe's been in training, and we've seen his 700-pound squat for 10 reps. I saw a Twitter, I think it was a Twitter communication or an Instagram comment that he was sort of attacking somebody who was talking trash on sprinters, on track athletes. And they had said something along the lines of like, hey, well, yeah, cool, let's see what you can rep out for 225. And he said, I benched 315 for 50. So we know what Joe's been doing in the weight room for the last, during quarantine, basically since he won the world title. And so it's been, you see a couple of his videos on Instagram and on his story of him throwing here and there, but not a ton. So it was exciting to see him come out and open up, and not just open up, but, launch a 22-meter throw. Good.
I do feel like that's just a bit of a, tell of where he's at, because I don't think he's opened up anywhere near here before.
No, I don't think so either. Not indoors. 4 throws over 71. That's the thing too. It's 4 throws over 71, and that's where we've got to think when he went big in Doha, like that was the big, he had a lot of throws, 70 to 71, 72. And then it popped off, So it's like, and even Ashley, his wife, his coach, is saying, hey, Joe's not even in like ready shape. He's just in decent shape. He's doing a ton of volume in his training because they're prepping for outdoors. They're prepping for the Olympics. I always like his right leg. He comes up a little bit out of the back, but whatever. Stays down, sits on that on the finish. Man, dude, he looks big. I want to see Kovacs do one of those like boxing things, like where you punch the boxing thing and it measures how much force you have.
Yeah, right.
See if you can watch this too with his, this is where it's like that wide right, and as his right grounds, his left comes across, and that helps him stay over that right side while his left's getting to the front. Then when his left grounds, it's just like everything accelerates super, super quick. Boom. That's good. So Joe Kovacs is in phenomenal shape. We know Crouser just broke the indoor world record. And even, think about this. He's wearing a mask. There's no crowd. There's it's earlier in the morning. 4 people are in the field. And he's still throwing 22 plus. Yeah. What if he was in a comp with Crouser?
Yeah.
Or
on a wood
Walsh?
Circle. And is this at Spire?
Yeah, it looks like a Spire where
there's probably sand in the circle too, for anyone who's thrown there.
And it's slightly cold and drafty and just blah. Sorry, Spire. So I'm excited to see where Kovacs is come the outdoor season. That's big. All right, let's move on to Crouser's training throw.
Textbook throw.
Yeah, his right's better there. And if you watch, I think, so Crouser's saying great textbook throw. I think this is something too, if you watch these guys, the best in the world train, especially Crouser, he takes more of these slow throws. I like to call them slow throws. I'll call them Zen throws, where it's just hit positions, hit positions, hit positions. Don't try and juice it up. And I think he's taken more throws like this, like those feeler throws, just establishing everything and then hitting that front than anyone. And that's why he's so consistent. That right gets down super quick there. It's nice and wide, down early. Left is fast. Left arm's good.
I think that's too where like it's a slow throw, but it's not a lazy throw by any means. The speed at which his left gets to the front, his left arm's working. He's still finishing decently hard, but it just doesn't look like it because he's not jerking his body all over the place.
Right. He's staying grounded. Watch his right knee. Try to watch that right knee as he's rotating through the finish, coming through. Just stays nice and fluid forward. I think it's just crazy. It's really cool. And this is a thing. We talked about this when we started the show, is this is what we can watch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we've got to appreciate this stuff. You know, we've got to appreciate that. This is just, it's phenomenal for us to have access to this and be able to see, like, what can we take out of this. It's kids watching this right now. When you go and you train, it's important to take those zen, slower throws to field positions to find the rhythm and then establish the rhythm and then build off of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get into so we're going to cover, how can we do this? I want to talk about the Tom Walsh thing.
Are you sure?
Is there an Instagram?
Yeah, there was an Instagram post of him yesterday throwing with a shirt that said "Space for Rent."
Okay, I didn't see it. Maybe you could look it up and pull it up and.
He
see
tried
where
to.
it's still on.
I couldn't find anything.
Where was it?
I mean, is it worth talking about if we're not like?
I think it would be interesting. Just don't go too depth into it because you guys are already 25 minutes.
All right, well, let's do this. So we're going to go into 2 big lifts in the weight room here at Throws U at Garage Strength, and then we're going to cover what our take is on Tom Walsh getting dropped by Nike. So, big lift here from Sam Mattis, 515 PR bench press. Actually, I think I'm wearing the same shirt I have on today.
Have you washed it yet?
Well, I have like 4 of them. So I think, a couple people were DMing me like, hey, what's the point of getting Sam, you know, really does he have to bench 515? Does he have to bench 550? I don't think he does, but, you know, he was feeling good. He was grooving it. He had hit 485 for double. I'm like, let's go. Let's see let's see what we have. So he's getting good shape heading into the outdoor season. His throws look pretty good right now as well. This is where I believe could be the single leg squat world record held by Lucas Warning, one of the best gliders in the world, for real.
Someone needs to give us proof if there's anyone who's done more.
He's been making some serious technical gains too. I think he looks pretty good right now. That's 505 for a single, which is just huge. So I think what's cool is like this is going to help him, and you're seeing it in his throws right now. If you watch our analysis of him on Throws University, his right ankle is actually improving and his right knee is improving in the middle. And I think it's partially because some of the speed work we're doing, but also because of the strength work that we're doing and how it sort of goes hand in hand. So finally, Trevor, I wanted to also discuss Tom Walsh just got cut by Nike, and which I believe is just crazy. You know, he's a 3-time world champion, and the biggest sponsor in track and field cut him. What is your take on that? What do you think throwers can take out of that? Because it's like the big thing here is I think that with this show is that a lot of kids, a lot of people growing up have to take, you know, lessons from all these big top throwers. They've got to see the technique, but they've also got to have an understanding of what reality is too from a financial perspective, and how hard and how difficult it can be to actually make things work in the sport. You know, a sport that's so fun and enjoyable and giving, you know, I think from like an intrinsic perspective, it's very unique and it's very fulfilling, but it's also extremely difficult. So I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think first of all, pretty sure every thrower knows that they're not in it for the money.
Right.
You know, overall, you know, obviously it's a perk if you get it, but that's most likely not why you got into the sport in the first place. But I mean, I think it's, you know, yeah, he's a multiple-time world champion, and you know, sure, there are 2 other guys who are prominent in the world right now, and you know, and is there only one male shot putter now who has a contract with Nike? I don't even know.
I think Darlin Romani, as far as I know, Darlin Romani, Darrell Hill, and Crouser.
Okay.
As far as I know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it comes back to a couple different things. I think it comes back to throwers supporting throwers. You know, you see what Kovacs is doing, supporting what Kovacs is involved with. You support. You also look at it like, hey, you know, Whiting and his group, they've got their Walsh shot. Now, we don't utilize the Walsh shot because we've got 1 million shots. But if you don't have the access to 1 million shots like we have, you should be supporting these guys. You should be supporting Ryan Whiting's group. You should be supporting Tom Walsh. And now it's one of those things where it's like, when you see someone like him who could win the Olympics, who threw the second furthest throw ever, right? And he's getting cut. That just shows that these major companies, they only care about the bottom line. And like, being a business owner, I get it. I get the bottom line part. I get that that's important. But there's also a lot of other factors that are very, very important. And it comes down to doing the right thing and supporting a community that's pretty tight knit. And now it's sort of like, hey, this has happened multiple times. It happened with Adam Nelson. And now it's happening again. And yeah, you know, COVID has hit, but it's at the same time, okay, so now Nike's going to make, you know, $100 billion instead of 99, you know, whatever, or $101 billion. So they had to cut Walsh. It's like, come on, like this is it's just ridiculous. And I think the throwing community, throwers in general, need to do a better job of being self-promoters and going out and putting ourselves out there on YouTube and not talking trash about everything. You know, you see coaches like Joe Frontier, Eric Johnson, even Martin Marich, what he's doing at UVA with his guys, and you see what everybody's doing on social media. You see what Whiting's doing with his group. You see what we're doing. And one of the downfalls of the throwing world is that we just constantly want to bicker and talk on everybody. And I think it's got to get to the point where it's like, look, we're all throwers. We're all just trying to be better at throwing. You know, we're not trying to solve world problems. We're not trying to be millionaires. We're just trying to do something that we enjoy, that we find internally fulfilling. Like what you said, we're not in this for the money. So try to like take a lot of the ego and a lot of the negativity away and realize that this guy's group or these women over here are trying to accomplish something cool, and this group over here is trying to accomplish something cool, and this group's trying to accomplish something cool, and support them all positively, because we see what happens with Nike. And I think that just, you know, it's something where the community itself has to be a little bit stronger and a little bit more positive and a little bit more progressive, so that we can stay together and we can help guys like Pippery or Washington or you know, these women, Nenig, and all the people coming up, that are in high school right now. If we stay close knit, now when they come up, we can see a 75, 76 foot shot putter. We can see women throwing 21 meters. And I think that's the big key factors. It's just, you know, we've got to do a better job as a group, as a, you know, macro group, of just being more positive.
Yeah. Because
stuff like that can really disrupt the whole entire community.
Yeah, I mean, I think we always, you know, it's kind of like, you know, the big companies out there, like we always get angry when, you know, they showing the 10K on the track instead of the throws. And like, you know, I think it's just us, exactly what you said, is supporting each other and building the throwing community into something bigger, and so big that, you know, these companies, you know, that throwing does start to emerge as one of the leading, you know, event groups in track and field, and even just sports in general.
Right.
And I think but it all just starts of everyone, you know, supporting each other and putting everything they have into the sport, back into the sport.
Right. And also making it as entertaining as possible. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing too I've got to say is, like, dude, people love seeing big lifts. They love seeing big throws. They love seeing physical feats, and throwers are the freakish people on the planet. Mm-hmm. So the more we can put that out there, the more the community is going to grow as a whole as well. So thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of The Throw Show. Until next time, guys, we'll see you. Peace.